Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and I'm reading Superman, issue number 16. Now, Superman has decided to use himself as bait and allow himself to be captured by Prophecy, this gigantic Ghost Rider-looking thing who's been absorbing all the other Superman's powers, because he's trying to find all the other depowered Supermen. So by means of the Fool Generator, he goes down and he gets himself captured, and then he has his power sapped, and then he's tossed into a big old pit where he's forced to work. What he's working for, what he's digging, I really don't know. Maybe their own graves. Either way, all these other Supermen and women of different varieties, including the Super Bunny, was it like Mighty Carrot Sticks or something like that? They're all just digging. Now they're all wondering what the heck he's doing because he's not working. So they're saying, dude, you need to get to work and otherwise they're going to rip you apart. He refuses. He says they're not going to kill me. And he also sees Kenan, the Superman of China. So he goes over and they have a conversation. And this is really cool because remember, all the writing that's in red is actually supposed to be spoken in Mandarin. So you get to see, once again, Superman's ability to speak multiple languages just because he's so ridiculously smart. He's not giving the entirety of his plan to the other Supermen and women, but he is giving a gist. And it seems that most of his plan revolves around hope. Yeah. Now, while usually I love the stories about hope, this particular one is not the best because you can't just say hope is your plan. That's not a plan. That's a Hail Mary pass. So back to the Justice League Incarnate, we get introduced to a new Flash. Now, I want to remind you that there's more than one Flash there. And also there are still several Supermen, and all of them should have super speed to one degree or another. That in mind. The Flash starts talking about what's going on. Oh, hey, what do you mean we lost the Fool Generator? What do you mean Prophecy apparently destroyed the other one? Okay, so that means that we need a new Fool Generator. So he starts delegating to people to get him certain things, certain piece of equipment, and he is going to make a Fool Generator. Now, Superman, President Superman, is absolutely not going to be able to tolerate this because he knows that it's going to hurt the Flash. It's going to cause some kind of a backlash where the cost is way too high. The Flash makes this comment about how speedsters don't think about the cost. They only think about the speed, the time. So he gets to working, and it gives you the idea that something potentially bad is going to happen. Well, it turns out that the Flash actually works himself to death. He finishes the Ultima Thule, and he gets himself killed. It's kind of like a crisis kind of thing, and if you're not familiar with this particular scene that we're looking at, then look at this scene because it's supposed to be a representation of the exact same thing. Real cute. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite live up to that particular crisis because it's not that particular crisis. This is a very short mini event for the Superman story itself. So they use the Ultima Thule to lock onto the other Thule, and they go back and they're able to find it due to the music. And no, fortunately, there is no singing in this one. So they go back and somehow they're able to re-energize the Supermen, give them back their powers. So they all start kicking some serious butt. I just want to point out that Super Bunny is unbelievably buff. So the other Supermen join in the fight also, and it's just a whole bunch of Supermen kicking a whole bunch of super butt on this big Prophecy dude. And he starts saying how he was going to try and help other worlds too, but first he had to help out his own world because there's some kind of a big threat coming. They don't want to hear it. They figure out that his weakness somehow is his hand because all of his power is in his hand, so if they can turn his hand against him, and yeah, if you're thinking sexual innuendo, so am I. So he uses his hand, and they beat the crap out of him or the fat out of him, not sure. Either way, he goes down. So he winds up getting teleported away, and he comes face to face with one of the Watchmen type characters who basically scolds him and says, yeah, nice try. By the way, he looks like Parasite there, which is actually kind of cool, but it's a giant parasite. Anyway, he's all locked up and he ain't going nowhere. So guys, I'm going to give this comic a C. I'm going to give this comic a C because not only this particular issue, but everything else, like this was actually the finale of this Multiplicity story. Now, it started off strong. The problem is the same problem that they had with all of these stories. Unfortunately, they keep just spitting them out as if they're in a deadline. And it's kind of annoying to me because this is Superman, and Superman is awesome. Whether you like it or not, Superman is spectacular. And for them to be spitting out these, what could be really cool stories if they just let them breathe, it's just sad, and it's such a waste. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. If you've got that many stories to spit out in DC, fine then. But make another comic then if you have to. You've got two Superman comics, and plus you've got 3 Batman comics, and that's not even including Trinity, which features both of them. Why not just make another Superman comic if that's the case? If somebody wants to buy it, cool. Make an all-star Superman. Who knows? Who cares? Just let the stories breathe. They're at bi-weekly as it stands. You gotta, like a fine wine, you gotta let it breathe. And they're not doing that. This story was what, 3 issues? Maybe 4? I think it was just 3 issues. And it got spit out like they were just grinding cheese. And nothing comes out good like that. It ended way too abruptly. This could have gone on. I'm not suggesting they drag it out. I'm saying let it breathe. Anyway, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.